It seems as though the calling of this media conference has prompted the Premier of New South Wales to go back to the 11 o'clock press conference, which is exactly what I was going to ask her to do. So that's good news. I'm glad that the New South Wales government is holding their daily press conference at least today. It needs to continue. It's crucial as we get to the peak of this pandemic that the New South Wales government continues with its daily media conference. What we need at the moment is consistency from the New South Wales government. We need clear communication and we need accountability from the New South Wales Premier. Governments can't pick and choose when they're going to be accountable both to the media and to the New South Wales public. It's very, very important. In fact, good governments should relish scrutiny. They shouldn't run away from it. And I'm very concerned that because New South Wales is the only jurisdiction that Parliament is not taking place at the moment, and because the New South Wales government does not look like it will continue with its daily press conferences at a time when our hospital system is going through its deepest and possibly most riskiest transitional period in its entire existence, and the transmission rate of COVID hits peaks that haven't been seen in any other jurisdiction at any other point in this pandemic, now is the time to front up, do the job of communicating with the people of New South Wales, make sure that everybody understands the messages that are coming from the New South Wales government. Now, there are some things that the public can't do that only government can do, but there are things that we can do as citizens of this state. The first one is get vaccinated. And the call from the New South Wales opposition very clearly is to get vaccinated and get those vaccination rates up. It was concerning that the number of vaccinated people, the rate at which people were being vaccinated, dropped 13% a fortnight ago or in the last fortnight. That's concerning. We want people vaccinated so we can get back to normality in New South Wales. The second thing is, and I understand people's concern and worry about the two sets of rules in Sydney, but the second point here is follow the rules. That means wear your face mask, social distance, particularly on weekends, and stay at home if you possibly can. The reason for that is, notwithstanding people's concern about the two sets of rules in Sydney, we need to make sure we get through this pandemic in as short a period of time as possible. Most of the other stuff is up to the government, and that means that they do have to front up and talk to the people of this state. Now, I'm not suggesting that the Premier herself has to do the 11 o'clock press conference each and every day. The Chief Health Officer has proven more than capable of answering complicated questions and clearly communicating with the people of this state. But somebody needs to front up from the New South Wales government and explain what is going on at the peak of this pandemic. I would have thought with 2 million people under curfew, 5 million people under lockdown, and over 7 million people at risk of getting COVID, now more than ever, government scrutiny of their decisions and communication of those decisions is essential in terms of how we get through the COVID pandemic. Now, this is going to be a difficult period, and there will be some people who think we're asking a lot of our government, but it's nothing compared to what the government is asking of us, the people of New South Wales, and it's the people of New South Wales that must be prioritised. So I'm calling on the government, recall Parliament, have the 11 o'clock press conferences, speak up to the people of New South Wales, clearly communicate in a stable way. It's the best way of getting through this public health emergency.